Hello and welcome. I'm TwistedJonathan, and today we'll be talking about dead games. My criteria for dead games comes down to three things: age, or how long ago it was released, player count, how many active players at the time of recording, and if the game has been updated or not recently. All the games we are talking about today have a specific characteristic in common, so let me know in the comments below what that commonality is. So let's jump right into it and dive into our first game. Banished is a city building strategy game developed and published by Shining Rock Software. Released in 2014, it presents a unique take on the genre by emphasizing survival, sustainability, and resource management rather than expansion and warfare. Unlike many city builders that feature modern economics or military campaigns, Banished strips that experience down to its core. A small group of exiled travelers must carve out a new life in an untamed wilderness, relying solely on the environmental and careful planning to survive and thrive. At its heart, Banished is a survival strategy game. Players begin with a handful of exiled citizens, a wagon full of supplies, and nothing else. There is no money system or external trade at the beginning. Everything your town produces must come from the land and the labor of your people. The objective is simple, yet daunting. Build a sustainable settlement that can weather harsh winters, fluctuate populations, and the ever-present threat of starvation, disease, and poor planning. The game operates in real time, with the ability to pause or accelerate said time, allowing players to manage the flow of events carefully. The key challenge? Managing resources like food, firewood, clothing, and tools, all of which are necessary for your citizens to survive. A lack of any one of these things can lead to catastrophic collapse, as a bad winter or a poor harvest can quickly wipe out an entire generation. Every citizen in Banished is a vital part of the town's ecosystem. They age, have children, get sick, and eventually die, whether from natural causes or your own undoing. Each can be assigned a profession, such as a farmer, hunter, blacksmith, teacher, and many more. Their efficiency is directly influenced by factors like education, health, and happiness. One of the most engaging aspects of the game is the complex production chains. For example, to produce warm clothing, you might need to hunt deer for leather or raise sheep for wool. Then assign a tailor to create garments. Tools require iron and logs crafted by a blacksmith. Firewood, essential for surviving winters, needs a forester to manage tree growth, and a woodcutter to process said logs. Managing these chains means balancing labor, transportation, and storage. A bottleneck in one area can ripple through the entire town. Too few laborers can slow down resource collection, while poor storage placement can lead to food spoilage or resource loss. Unlike traditional city builders, where growth is a primary goal, Banished encourages a more conservative, careful expansion. Population growth is organic, based on the availability of housing and the natural aging and reproduction of your citizens. Overexpansion is a common and costly mistake. Building too many houses too quickly can lead to a surge in births, outpacing your food and tool production, and triggering a spiral of famine and death. Sustainability is key. Clear-cutting forests might seem like a good short-term gain, but it can lead to resource exhaustion. Overfishing depletes lakes. Ignoring education leads to a generation of unskilled workers, slowing productivity. The game rewards players who plan ahead, maintain balance, and think long-term. Visually, Banished presents a muted, realistic aesthetic. The environment changes with the seasons. Snow falls in the winter, trees turn golden in the autumn, and rain can dampen the terrain in spring. The animations are simple, yet effective, giving a lived-in feel to your town as villagers go about their tasks like chopping wood, herding animals, and gathering firewood. The sound design complements this atmosphere with ambient noises, birds, wind through the trees, the crackles of fires, the animals making noises, adding a calm, almost meditative quality to the gameplay. Even as underlying tensions about food supplies and worker health loom, you can still relax. Though Banished was developed by a single individual, Luke Hodorowitz, its community has helped extend the game's longevity through extensive modding support. The Colonial Charter mod is especially noteworthy, adding hundreds of new buildings, resources, and gameplay mechanics, turning Banished into an even deeper and more complex experience. Mods have introduced everything from new crops and animals to entirely new professions, weather patterns, and trade systems. Banished is a game that rewards patience, foresight, and careful management. It offers a compelling twist on the city building genre by eliminating warfare and focusing purely on the intricacies of life, labor, and survival. Its serene presentation contrasts with the often brutal challenges it presents, making every success deeply satisfying and every failure a valuable lesson. For players who enjoy thoughtful strategy, long-term planning, and a realistic take on survival city building, Banished remains a standout title. Whether you're building a humble forest village or thriving mountain town, the road to your sustainability is always fragile, and your people are always counting on your every decision. Banished is a single-player game that is available now to play on Steam. It has a rating of 9 out of 10 on Steam, 8.3 on IGN, and 73 out of 100 on Metacritic. It is currently available for $20 if you want to give this real-time strategy a try. With roughly 600 active players, this game is not yet dead, but not nearly as popular as it used to be. Timber and Stone is an immersive, sandbox-style city building and survival strategy game that blends elements of resource management, construction, exploration, and tactical combat. Developed by an indie developer, Robert Reed, the game offers a richly detailed medieval fantasy world where players take on the role of a settlement overseer, guiding a small group of settlers through the harsh trials of building a thriving town from scratch. At its core, Timber and Stone focuses on the meticulous control of every aspect of your settlement. Players start with just a handful of settlers and limited supplies, tasked with carving out a home in a procedurally generated wilderness. From gathering timber, mining stone, and crafting tools, to building fortresses and defending against enemy incursions, every decision matters. Each settler can be assigned specific jobs like farmer, blacksmith, carpenter, infantry, or stonemason, each essential to the growth and survival of your community. One of the game's signature features is that it emphasizes on realism and micromanagement. Unlike many city builders, Timber and Stone demands that players consider logistics such as supply chains, item storage, and the terrain itself. Structures are not simply placed, they are built piece by piece, requiring raw materials and the appropriate laborers. Seasons change, bringing unique challenges such as cold winters and food shortages, while the looming threat of goblins, skeletons, wolves, and even necromancers ensures that your defense can never be neglected. The visual style of Timber and Stone is reminiscent of voxel-based games like Minecraft, but with a more subdued and grounded aesthetic that suits its medieval tone. The game features day and night cycles, weather effects, and a living world that reacts to your presence. Wildlife roams the forest, enemy forces scout your borders, and traders may pass with valuable goods. While still considered a work in progress, and with development slowing to a halt in the last years, Timber and Stone developed a loyal fanbase due to its unique blend of genres and depth of its simulation. Modding support and community-driven improvements have helped keep the game alive among dedicated players. In essence, the Timber and Stone is a game about survival, creativity, and strategy. It's ideal for players who enjoy hands-on management and the satisfaction of watching a humble camp grow into a powerful fortress town, if it can survive the harsh world that surrounds it. Timber and Stone was released in 2015 by one indie developer, Robert Reed. The reviews of this game include 6 out of 10 on Steam and 5 out of 10 on IGDB. If you want to give this game a try, Steam has it for sale for $5. This game had no players on it when I was recording, making this game most likely entirely dead. Mountain Blade Warband is a critically acclaimed standalone expansion to the original Mountain Blade. Developed by Tale Worlds Entertainment and released in 2010, a unique blend of action, RPG, strategy, and medieval sandbox gameplay, Warband sets itself apart by offering an open-ended experience in a sprawling dynamic world, where players forge their own path through diplomacy, warfare, and personal ambition. Set in the fictional continent of Calradia, Warband plunges players into a feudal landscape torn by conflict among 6 competitive factions: the Swadians, Vigors, Karagets, Nords, Rhodoks, and the newly introduced Serenid Sultanate. Each faction boasts unique troop types, cultural aesthetics, and strategic advantages, contributing to a rich and varied gameplay experience. Unlike traditional RPGs, Warband offers no scripted protagonist or linear story. Instead, players create a fully customizable character, selecting their background, attributes, skills, and equipment. From there, they are set free to pursue any path they desire. You can become a mercenary, a trader, a bandit, a nobleman, or you can even rise and establish your own kingdom. The game world is constantly evolving, with lords waging wars, forming alliances, rebelling, or vying for thrones, regardless of the player's involvement. Combat in Warband is one of its most praised features. It is skill-based, intuitive, and realistic, relying on directional input from both attacking and blocking. Battles take place in real time and can involve dozens, sometimes hundreds, of AI-controlled units. Players can command armies, lay siege to castles, or fight on horseback with lances, swords, bows, and more, delivering an exhilarating, medieval battlefield experience. The dynamic moral system, troop formations, and terrain mechanics all add to this tactical depth. One of the biggest additions in Warband, compared to its predecessor, is the multiplayer mode, supporting up to 64 players in various game types such as deathmatch, siege, and battle. While it strips away the RPG elements of the single-player campaign, the multiplayer showcases the game's combat engine in fast-paced, skill-driven matches. Warband also introduced enhanced political and economic systems, including marriage mechanics, more elaborate fief management, and deep relations with lords and ladies. Players can gain renown and honor, influence politics, and even participate in court intrigue. Towns and villages can be developed, governed, or raided, depending on the player's alignment and ambitions. The game is also known for its modding community, which has extended Warband's lifespan for years. Mods like Prophecy of Pendor, Florist Mod Pack, and A Clash of Kings, which is a Game of Thrones total conversion of the game, adds new worlds, mechanics, and content, while Napoleonic Wars, an official DLC, brings players into the early 19th century warfare. Despite its dated graphics, Mountain Blade Warband remains a cult favorite thanks to its unmatched freedom, challenging combat, and complex systems that allows for truly emergent storytelling. Whether you're carving out a path as a lone warrior or leading massive armies to conquer empires, Warband offers a medieval sandbox experience like no other. Out of all 3 of the games we've talked about today, this game is considered the most alive, with around 3,000 active players at the time of recording. This game's reviews are also really good, with a 10 out of 10 on Steam, 78 out of 100 on Metacritic, and IGDB gave it a 6.9. Nice. It's on sale on Steam for $20 if you are interested. Thank you so much for watching this video about dead games. If you have more dead games you'd like me to review, leave a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave me a like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on X at TwistedJCK. And check out my shorts channel, TwistedJonathan Shorts, for all your brain rot needs. If you haven't already, leave a comment below about what all 3 of these games have in common. I have been TwistedJonathan. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.